Yesterday at approximately 1:58 p.m., Oklahoma City police officers responded to a call for assistance from members of the Metro Fugitive Task Force. That task force consisted of Oklahoma City police officers, U.S. Marshal Service, alcohol and tobacco and firearms agents, Cleveland County Sheriff's Department, and the Oklahoma Highway Patrol. That call for assistance was in to aid them in stopping a suspect that was wanted for armed robbery warrants. The task force have been surveilling this suspect in the area of Southwest 44th and Douglas Avenue. They tried to make contact with the individual, and he led them on a pursuit from the area of Southwest 35th and Blackwell. That pursuit ended in a park, Draper Park, located in the 3800 block of South Robinson. The suspect jumped the curb of that area, drove through the park, around a basketball court that's fenced in, and towards a creek area. The creek has a significant drop-off of approximately 10 to 15 feet. The suspect stopped the vehicle there and exited the vehicle, went down into the creek, and produced a firearm when approached by officers. 2 Oklahoma City officers opened fire, shooting and killing that suspect. It's not known at this time which officer actually struck the suspect, but only 2 Oklahoma City officers fired. They removed the suspect from the water in the creek, disarmed him, and attempted to render aid with the help of IMSA and fire. The suspect died at the scene and was removed from the creek later. A woman was found to have been driving this vehicle. That woman was detained, interviewed, and released pending further charges. The 2 officers involved in this have been identified as Michael Levesey. He has approximately 13 years with the Oklahoma City Police Department, and Matthew Gilmore with approximately 11 years with the Oklahoma City Police Department. Those 2 officers have been placed on paid administrative leave pending the outcome of the investigation. It's been determined that the Oklahoma City Police Department's homicide unit will conduct the investigation because our officers are the ones that fired, and the other officers are considered witnesses in this particular incident. The deceased was identified as Stephen Keith Waters, a white male, date of birth 11/23/59. That is also the name that was on the warrants that were outstanding, and those warrants were for failure to appear on a burglary, armed robbery, concealing stolen property, larceny of an automobile, and possession of a firearm after former conviction of a felony. Mr. Waters was found to have an ID, a photo ID on his person at the time. That ID bore a different name and a different date of birth. So we're still investigating to determine if that ID is the name of a true individual that he is trying to assume, or if that is an alias that he uses, and that we know that his warrants are under the name of Waters, and we haven't released the name that was on the ID in the event that that is an actual person. Mr. Waters was listed as armed and dangerous on the warrant itself, so the officers knew that they were looking for and trying to apprehend an individual that was known to carry firearms and known for a propensity towards violence. The woman driving the vehicle, and we don't know her relationship to Mr. Waters, but she was released pending the investigation. We do not believe that she was a hostage in this situation, and we'll continue our investigation, and the district attorney will determine what the charges will be filed against her. We have confirmed Mr. Waters' identification by tattoo markings and through his fingerprints. We're trying to determine right now if the identification in his pocket, the name that's on that identification, is actually another individual, or if that's an alias that Mr. Waters uses.